Thanks, everybody. I'm a geologist, so I will, of course, make forward-looking statements. I can't help myself, so bear with me there. And first, I'd like to acknowledge that we're working on the traditional land of the Wabigoon Lake First Nation and the Eagle Lake First Nation, and we have a very good collaborative relationship with them. So it's something that we're really excited about. On Monday, we got our exploration permits for this project, so it's a pretty big deal for us recently. So some key value drivers for us. We're a small team. We only became public last year in early January. We have a great shareholder list. So I feel when I tell this story, people get excited. We're the opposite of the last story. We're early stage. So we're exploring for gold. We're sitting in a shadow of a headframe, but from the turn of the century. It was mined here in the early 1900s, pick and shovel kind of thing, and we're kind of going back to that to expand it. This area is located in Dryden, and where is that really? Well, north of Minnesota, between Thunder Bay and Winnipeg, right on the Trans-Canada Highway. What kind of blows my mind with this project is we have incredible infrastructure. I actually live in this town. There's 10,000 people. A lot of people work in mining, either in the Red Lake camp or Rainy River Mine to the south. And it's a very favorable jurisdiction that way. We have a paper mill in town, which gives us incredible road access. So I drive the pickup truck from my house right out to the drill and all of our exploration sites. That's not something you usually see in an area that's had so little exploration in Canada. We have power, we have rail. Again, like the list goes on. So we have really low exploration costs. I mentioned our great shareholder base, but our management team is something I should talk about as well. Our CEO, Trey Wasser, from Ely Gold Royalties, you may know. The team is really based of a group that sees building shareholder value through making discoveries and M&A transactions. So we know we're good at exploring, and that's what we're focused on. Something else that I'd like to mention right now, it's a great time to get in. Our share price is at 11 cents. We did our RTO last year at 15. We were able to raise $14 million over the course of last year in a hard market, and we're fully funded for exploration, all our G&A and marketing this year. So that's unusual. We have a almost $6 million budget for exploration this year, so we're just getting rolling on that, and it'll be a very aggressive program. So again, I kind of mentioned where we're located, but we're in a really prolific area. There's a lot of great deposits in this camp, and I'll talk a little bit about Red Lake. It's the closest neighbor, and I see a lot of similarities between this Dryden project. We call our flagship is called Gold Rock. I spent about 8 years working in Red Lake, 5 of which I was the exploration manager, so I'm very familiar with the Red Lake deposit, and I'll show you some similarities. What I want to point out as well is that these type of Archean lode gold deposits typically have very deep roots. So when this was mined at the turn of the century, it was only mined to 140 meters. That's when they hit water. And this property was always piecemeal ownership. There were 8 different mines in a very small footprint of about 1.5 kilometers. So it never really had a chance to be successful. What we've done is put together a property package that is 70,000 hectares. We have the whole district. And we've been really strategic about the land we picked up. So by Metal Earth, which is a research group here out of Canada, they compared this district to the Timmins Porcupine, to the Timmins district. The dotted line that goes up from the top northwest corner to the southwest, that's the Manitou-Denoric Deformation Zone. That was compared to the Porcupine Duster Fault in Timmins. So we love that comparison, and we very much staked everything that you can or picked up the properties along that structure. We feel you need to be within a few kilometers to really have high-grade gold. There is some exploration that was done historically here, so it gives us a base to work with. A lot of that was in the historic mining camp. But we've done a lot since then, and we have some exploration targets within this large land package. We have some good neighbors. Kinross is in the area, Next Gold recently with that merger. And so there's a lot of activity. Dynasty Gold, I think, is out here. They're in our neighborhood, and Kenora Land Minerals. One of the things that really drew me to the project was the amount of high-grade gold. And I've just highlighted our 3 top target areas, but there is high-grade occurrences from top to bottom of this project. So to me, it really shows that there could be a significant deposit here, and that you don't get these kind of grades unless you have really enough juices here to have a deposit. So Chen mentioned our 53,000 gram per ton hit, and that's in the picture there. That's the best from the property in the Gold Rock camp. But last year through our drilling, we also got some really nice results. 30 grams over almost 6 meters, 15 over almost 7. So we're starting to see really nice widths and grades on this property, and we have about 12 to 15,000 meters of drilling planned this year, so we'll be able to expand and grow this. We also have regional exploration targets. So these are our top 2 priority targets that are on the map. Hinman, which is way out to the east, we found through early reconnaissance work that we did on the property, trying to get a feel for what was there. We announced 34 grams per ton earlier this year. And then down at the south end of the property, we have some pretty incredible grades as well, and the surface samples up to 617 grams per ton. So there's certainly something here that's significant and very high grade. I mentioned that I worked in Red Lake for a long time, and I really couldn't help but notice the staggering similarities here. When you look at the cartoon on the bottom of Red Lake, you see the fold architecture and the faults. That creates excellent traps for high grade. And then when I looked at the Gold Rock camp, which is what we hold, it's very, very similar, just flipped on its side. The exploration and the mining historically was really only on that red line there, but we have all of these great traps for high-grade gold between the folding and the fault intersections. So to me, we just keep building more evidence that this could be a significant deposit. We were very aggressive in our first year, had some great plans. We wanted to expand the footprint of the system, understand the high-grade controls, and start predicting where the high grade would be. We were successful with that. We found 3 additional high-grade areas, and then we started targeting regionally. Some of the results, but really what I want to show you on this slide is what the mineralization looks like. We'll be at the core shack at PDAC on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we have some of the core there. A lot of people ask me, is this a vein, very narrow? Can it really be mined? Well, yes, actually, we have a shear zone hosted gold system here, which is quite wide, and you can go see that at the core shack, but those are some of the pictures. It has free gold disseminated throughout, so more consistent, and really that's what we'll be targeting during 2025. This is following up on that area, so this is our Elora target. Like I said early in the presentation, we just got our exploration permit, so now we can step off what we call patented land, where we can drill and explore without a permit, and now we can test this entire trend. So we've permitted about 2 more kilometers to the northeast, which allows us to start testing regionally. And one of our main goals for the year is to test this at depth. So these kind of systems really have deep roots. We're going to target about half a kilometer depth. This has only been drilled very shallowly. About 100 meters is the average depth, and the deepest holes we've drilled to date, we just completed before coming here. We're going to get back to it when we get home, but they're at 300 meters, so a lot more to grow this. And something I want to mention, the historic mine there at the northeast top portion, that was the Laurentian mine. 14 gram average grade. So we know we have something high grade here, and we certainly are excited to follow it up. This year will really be all about growth at Gold Rock, but we're also going to look at some of the regional targets because they look very favorable as well. We have 70,000 hectares, so we don't want to forget about it. We really want to grow this. In December, we had a strategic placement from Centerra Gold. They feel as well that this is a district play. We have some other majors and mid-tiers certainly looking over our shoulder that we've signed CAs with, so they're watching and they also believe, which is nice. I mentioned the permits. I won't touch on that too long, but we'll have permits for all of our target areas, which is very exciting. And we've had some great results regionally already with our field work. So this is just north of the main mine area. We had 24 grams, 9, 6. So we're really starting to see that this does continue. We'll be able to drill test this year, which is very exciting. We have great geophysical coverage across the property, and we've used that to target this. So we saw an anomaly very similar to what we saw at the mine, and we went and mapped that. We're doing that across the property, and I'll show you that in some of the other targets. Hinman, which was way out to the east that we found through reconnaissance. We did geophysics interpretation there, found more targets. We've only mapped a few of them, and we were able to get more good high-grade results from that program of 34 grams per ton and starting to understand the system. So we'll be able to drill test this year, but we're going to do our homework first. It's really important to us to be systematic about the way we explore, use all the data sets we possibly can, and just keep growing it. Sheridan is way down to the south from the map, and this had those crazy high-grade hits from historic work. So we've been putting together a geologic model here so that this summer we can go out and fine-tune that and be able to drill test this. Now, I mentioned the systematic approach, but it's really important the way we do our exploration. My background from working for Gold Corp for quite a while is really to be always ranking and rating your targets. You look at the grade, of course, the size, logistics, a social license, and we have all of those things, and we use that to rank and rate our targets, but we have quite a pipeline, so it really does show a district opportunity here. We're fully funded, which is incredible and something very exciting to say this year. About half of that is going to go to growing our Gold Rock flagship project, and then we'll put about a third of that into the priority regional targets. And we're going to do some early stage work. So we have great geophysics, we have a great structural interpretation. We're going to add geochemical data to this. So we're going to do till and soil sampling so we can see if there's any other targets that might be lurking. We have an aggressive year with telling our story and doing exploration. But what I really want to finalize on is just the reasons to look at Dryden Gold. And right now is certainly the time with the share price where it is. The property is incredible. The team is strong technically, and we also have a great management team. High-grade gold all over, great geology and jurisdiction, infrastructure, and the shareholder base. So hopefully it's the next Red Lake. And I thank you very much for your time.